You probably were. I remember writing this as an adult. And honestly, this whole debacle makes me feel just ridiculously old, especially as someone who grew up on the M line. Like, I remember when this motherfucker was brown. I remember when the route went into deep ass Brooklyn. Like I went to Brooklyn College. I used to take the M from Metropolitan Avenue all the way to Atlantic Avenue, and then from there I'd grab the 2 or the 5 or whatever. Like the M going to Brooklyn made sense to me. There is no reason why the it should loop around the way that it does now. I can and have walked when I was younger from Metropolitan Avenue to Forest Hills. It's not that hard. It's also like a straight shot too, if I remember correctly. You just walk all the way up Metropolitan until you get to cinema, until you get to around like Cinemark Cinemas, and then you make a left on 71st Street, which is a little bit before Cinemark Cinemas, but that's like the thing that I remember the most about that neighborhood. Either way, Pepperidge Farm remembers. I also think it's super interesting that these like vintage, this is not a vintage train, but the vintage trains, they only go to like the Manhattan stops, like the rich touristy spots. The like this kind of thing where it's you send like a vintage train to to like a random station, it's never going to a J line stop. This was like Upper East Side, I think like 86, 96th Street. But they do this shit at like the Richie Rich stops because the J train is, I think, is like it has some like the dirtiest stops like I've ever seen. Like Chambers Street is a mess. I haven't been to the Chambers Street stop in a really long time, but I'm still so confident that that is the dirtiest station in the entirety of Manhattan, if not the entirety of New York City, that I'm saying that without even Googling what it looks like today. I feel like this is just me going like, well, back in my day, this train was brown. It wasn't orange, and it had a more sensible route. Like, and we used to walk uphill in the snow both ways to get to school and work. I hear myself. I sounding like a curmudgeon, but why is there a J train on the Q line and pretending that it's vintage? Why?